So in the last session, we discussed about what is meant by a container and how we are going to create the container. So how containers will be running, what is meant by the applications, process that is running inside the Docker, and how applications how applications will be created inside the container, and how the dependencies can be installed on the container. So the things that we have seen, and what is meant by namespace and control groups. These are the concepts that we discussed in the last session. So in this session, what we are going to do here is we are going to discuss about a new concept, that is installing the Docker on an Ubuntu machine and understanding the basic Docker commands. Okay, so how we can install the Docker on Ubuntu. Okay, for this I'm going to install an AWS EC2 instance in the AWS environment. So let me go back to that. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick now. Okay, so this is my AWS EC2 console. Inside this, I'm going to run an EC2 instance. And later, what I will do, I will try to create a container. Okay, so how we can create the container, what are the different commands that we are going to use, and we'll see whatever the concepts that we need to discuss about that. So let me launch an instance over here. Docker server, and select an Ubuntu image or else Ubuntu operating system, and it's an 2204. That's the version of the operating system which I'm selecting now. And later T2 micro is good. Key pair will be default key pair, and the network settings will be dev public subnet. Select our existing security group, default one, and launch the instance. So once we have launched this instance, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the Docker. Okay, but before I install the Docker, what I'm going to do here, so I will go back to the instances. This is my Docker server. Okay. So go and log on to that server. So basically, we don't have any sort of what I can say Docker installed on the server. So let me try to install it. So what I will do. So basically, I will try to show you something. Okay, so right now what I have done here is I just installed the server. Okay. So here we are having a server. Okay, so this is my Docker server. So whenever you are having any computer machine, okay, so if you are having any computer machine, so this particular computer machine or the server or any your desktop also, you will have uh, the network adapters. This is the network adapter which will allow the internet traffic to flow into your system. Or else if your system want to access any internet, so that will be gone to this network adapter. So for any system, you will have a network adapter, and in this case, it is defined with ETH0. Okay, ETH0. Right. So now, if you see here, if I go for if config is a command which will be helpful for you to show the IP address of your server. But if config is not there, to install the if config, I will go with apt install nettools. Okay, nettools will install an utility called as if config that will display the IP address of this particular server. So if config, here you can see we are having an Ethernet 0 adapter. That is the physical adapter which I have said you. So which will be helpful for you. Which will be helpful for you to communicate with the internet and as well as to download any data from the internet. Okay. So now what I will do, so this is one of the adapter and this is the other adapter which we are having. It's called as loopback adapter. So what is this loopback adapter? In general, in any mission, okay, in any mission, what is going to happen within the system if there are any server issues, any network issues that we find out, or else if you want to test any application, so then you are going to go with the loopback adapter. Okay, so yeah, loopback adapter is with the local host. Whenever you are working with any application, you will give localhost colon 3000, localhost colon 5000, or else localhost colon 5432 like that. So what is this localhost? Localhost means nothing but your loopback adapter range of IP address, which will be helpful for you. Uh, sorry, where we are? Yeah, it is helpful for you to test the application. Okay, so yeah. So this is about your if config. Now what I will do here is I will install the Docker. So simply how we can install the Docker. Okay. 1 second, guys. So where are we? Yeah. So I'm going to install the Docker. So how we can install the Docker? To install the Docker, what I am going to do here, nothing but I don't need to run multiple commands at a time. So all the commands will be created, or also all the commands will be in this particular URL. What is that? Get.docker.com. Okay, get.docker.com. Here you are having the entire shell script to install the Docker. Simply what I will do, curl -sl https colon / get.docker.com and bash. So it is going to install the Docker in our Ubuntu operating system. So we don't need to worry about the particular concept. Okay, so how we are going to install it, or else how we are going to work it out. Okay. So hold on. Yeah, Docker got installed. So now how you can say that Docker is installed? Docker info. So if you run this command, it will give the total information about the Docker. Okay. So what is the server? I mean, what is the version that the Docker is installed and how we are running the servers? Everything will be showing on this particular command. Okay, Docker info. And here you can see if config. What is the difference that you find out between previously when we run the if config command and now when we run the if config command? What is the difference that you find out?
We got another port, right? Another
Yeah, we
interface.
have another network adapter that got installed. When we install the Docker, another network adapter has been installed. So now what is this? So inside the server, what we have done, we install the Docker. Okay, we have installed the Docker. Now to this Docker, we are having a network adapter. So this network adapter is called as default bridge network adapter. So the name of the adapter itself will be having like a bridge. Okay, bridge. Okay, so this is the bridge network adapter. Why it is named as bridge network adapter? So it will act as a connection between your containers which are running on your Docker machine. If the containers want to access any data from the internet, so this particular data can be accessed by or else accessed through this bridge network adapter. So the containers are connected to this bridge network adapter. Okay, like that if we are having two different containers which are running different applications or else which are connected with each other. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect these two containers to this bridge network adapter. So whenever they want to communicate with the internet, so the Ethernet 0 will be connected to the internet itself. Okay, so now what is going to happen? This particular container will send the data or send the request to the bridge network adapter. From this network adapter, the data will be traveled into the internet. So the bridge network adapter is connected to the physical network adapter, and this physical network adapter will forward the data to the internet. So the point is here, one more thing what you need to understand, how these containers are connected to the or else what I can say, whenever we are creating any container, if we don't specify any network name, then automatically they are connected to the default network where you are having the default bridge network adapter. So by default, what is the range of IP address that you are going to get for this 172.168.0.0/16? So this is the default network range of this particular bridge network adapter. So now whatever the containers that are creating inside this will have the IP address starting from 02. So why? Because this bridge network adapter will act as a gateway. Gateway means entry and exit point for an data. So if any data has to enter into the container, first of all, it has to reach to the bridge network adapter and then it has to enter into the container. If any request that has to go outside of your server or else go to the internet, the exit point will be the bridge network adapter itself. So that is called as a gateway. So this particular bridge network adapter will have a gateway IP address of the range 172.17.0.1. So this is the default IP address of that particular bridge network adapter. Okay. Sorry, because of my heavy sickness and yeah. Anyways, sorry. Coming back to the point, this is the container that we are having, and the other containers will have 172.17.0.3. So this is the IP address for the another container that we are getting. Now these two containers are connected towards your default network adapter and they are going to communicate with the internet. So whether it is going to happen or not, let us see. Okay. So here to check out whether we are having the bridge network adapter or not. So now what I am going to do here is, okay. So here you can see Docker network ls. So what is this command defines? Docker network ls. So try to understand here. If you are trying to access anything related to the Docker, what is the first word that you are giving? You are giving Docker. So what is the meaning of that? The user wants to interact with the Docker process or else Docker daemon. Okay, so this is called as Docker CLI, Docker command line tools. These are all the Docker commands which I am telling you right now. So Docker network ls in the sense, I want to know what are the different networks that are present inside this particular server, okay, or in the Docker environment. So if you can see here, we are having three different network adapters. One is the bridge network adapter, which we have just discussed, and the other one is the host network adapter. Host network adapter is nothing but the physical adapter which is assigned to the server. And then we are having the loopback adapter. Here null means loopback adapter. These are the three different adapters right now we are having. And this is the default. If you can see, the name is bridge itself, which means it's a default network adapter that is created with the Docker. So when we install the Docker, automatically with the Docker, a default bridge network adapter has been created. So if you want to know the IP address of that particular bridge network adapter, what I'm going to do is Docker network inspect bridge. So I want to check, inspect in the sense checking itself. I want to check what is the network range of that particular bridge network adapter. Here you can see the particular bridge network adapter is running on the IP address range, or else the subnet range is 172.170.0 and 172.170.1 is the gateway IP address. So right now, do we have any containers are there inside this network in the sense inside the default network, we don't have any sort of containers created. So now what I will do, let me create a container. Okay. So by the way, so if you want to write this, you can write it out somewhere so that you won't forget again. So Docker network ls and Docker uh, network inspect. Okay. Right. So now what I will do, Docker run -itd -- name of the container is test container with the image Ubuntu. I want to create a container with the image Ubuntu. So with this image, you are going to get the environment, the binaries and libraries for that particular OS. It is not going to install the OS, but it will have only the binaries and libraries to run that particular container. Okay. So here you can see Docker PS. So what is this command? Docker PS is a command to know the running containers. So when we are checking about the processes in Linux, so to check the process in Linux, what is the command we are using? To check the process in
PS.
Linux, yeah,
PS.
PS is the command, right? So in the same manner, here what we are using, Docker PS. So to check the processes running inside the Docker, processes are nothing but what? Inside the Docker, what the processes are running, what is the
Containers.
containers itself. So whatever the running processes that are available, so simply you can give the command docker ps. So docker ps is a command which will be helpful for you to understand the containers. What are the containers that are running inside the Docker environment? And as well as docker ps-a. So what is this command? This command will display any sort of containers that are either running or stopped or just created. So you don't need to have the running containers. Sometimes you will have the stopped containers or else just created containers. To check all of those containers which are stopped or else which are created, which are running, I want to know what is the state of all the containers. You can simply give docker ps-a in the sense -all. Okay. Or else docker ps is only for running containers. So now we are having a test container running. Okay. Where it is running? So docker network inspect bridge. So previously we don't have the containers, but now we are having a container. What is the container? Test container. with an IP address 172.17.0.2. So this is the name of the test container which we are having. Okay. So this is what the container is all about. Right. So this is the test container which we have created. Now, by default, when we don't specify the network name, automatically it is going to be created inside the default network. So it is going to assign with an IP address 172.17 range of IP address. Now, if I try to create one more container, Docker run -itd hyphen name of the container is test container 2. So if you don't specify the name of the container, automatically Docker will assign a particular name. But for your easy of understanding and for easy of fetching, you need to provide a name for the container. If you don't provide the name also, it doesn't matter. It will run a container. Okay, Ubuntu. So the same image I am going to use. So here you can see we have the two containers that are created, test container and test container 2. These two containers are created inside the default network adapter. Okay. So they are in a single network. Definitely they will communicate with each other. So here you can see, let me log on to one of the container, or else first of all, network inspect bridge. So here you can see we have the IP address 172.17.0.2, 172.17.0.3. So this IP address belongs to test container 2 and 17.0.2 belongs to test container. So now Docker execute a -it test container and bash. So this is just for accessing the container, to log in into the container and to run the commands inside the container. So let me enter into the container. So what is there inside the container? Inside the container, we don't have ping, we don't have if config, we don't have any minimum utilities are also not available. So that's the reason. That is the reason the image size is only 78 MB. Whatever the Ubuntu image that we have downloaded, that is having a bare minimal size. Okay, so let me show you that. To come out of the container, press Control P Q. You will be coming out of the container. So here you can see Docker images. So what is the size of the Ubuntu machine? 78.1 MB only, which means that it's very, very, very minimal. Okay. Again, I'm logging into the container. We don't have any sort of utility. Let me install the utilities. apt update -y. Okay, so I logged into the test container, which means that the first container. Okay, apt install -y net-tools to know the IP address of this particular container and IP utils -ping. So I want to install the ping utility also. Right. So now let me try to communicate with the another container. What is the other container that we are having? Ping 172.17.0.3. 0.3 is the IP address of the test container 2. So when I try to communicate, both the containers will communicate with each other. Why? Because both are available on a single network, that is, or else both are connected on a single network, that is the default network. But there is a problem here. What is the problem is they will not communicate with the name. The name resolution cannot be happened. Ping test container 2. When I give this, it is going to show you name or service unknown. So Docker has given this particular kind of thing for the default network adapter. So whenever you are working or else whenever your containers are connected in the default network adapter, 1 second guys. So whenever your Docker containers are connected to the default network adapter, they will not communicate with the name. Okay, they will not communicate with the name. So what is the necessity for us to make the communication with the name? Okay, so why we want the name communication to be happen? So it's very simple, guys. Okay. For example, I am having an application container. Java application container is there. Inside this, we are having an application, Java application running. Inside that, what I will do here is I will create a Jdbc driver, and inside that I will explain the IP address of the database container. For example, the IP address of the database container is 172.0.10:5432 on this particular. So I'm telling to the Java application, you have to connect to the database application on this particular IP address. So there will be a container which is running the PostgreSQL. Okay, there is an application or there is a container which is running the PostgreSQL with the IP address 172.17.0.10. Okay, on the port number 5432. So here, what is this application? This is the Postgres application. Now what is going to happen? So this particular container IP is 172.17.0.some5. This is the IP address of the Java application container. So now what is going to happen when we give it in the application properties? Okay, it will try to connect to that particular IP address. It will try to connect to this particular container through the IP address. Okay, so the containers will be okay with that. At the initial stages, we don't have any problem. We don't see any problem over here. But I said you in the previous day also, so containers are stateless. So whenever the containers are running, suddenly due to any reason, if the container is deleted, okay, due to any reason, if the container is deleted, now because it's a stateless, if the resources are else there is a high consumption or due to any another reason, if this Postgres container got terminated, okay, at the same instance, if you are installing or else if you are creating one more container, now what is going to happen? That IP address will be assigned to this new container. At the same instance, if you are creating another container, for example, it is the front end container. Okay, I'm just telling you why, because see, now we are in the demo session, only one or two containers that we are running. But when you go into the office environment or else whenever you are working in the company, so there will be some 100 containers will be running at a time inside the Docker server. Now we are in the demo. I'm running only two containers. But when you go to the office, then you will have so many different projects and so many different containers will be running. Some containers will be deleted or terminated and new containers will be created. So there will be some messy thing will happen. So for example, there is a front-end container which is created with the same IP address 172.17.0.10, which is running on the port number 80. Now, can you tell me whether this Java application is able to send the data to this particular container? Is it possible now? Do you understand what happens here?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
So if it sends the data, whether this container will accept the data?
No, no, the change port and all change, right? By port change.
Everything is changed. So it won't accept the data. So now what I have to do? So this is the main drawback with the default network adapter. In the default network adapter, the containers can communicate only with the IP address. But when we are going with the custom network adapter, so this is entire thing will comes under the default network. I will make it more clear here. Default network. But when we go for the custom network, what is going to happen if we create our own network? It is also a bridge network. So I'm going to create one more network adapter in the Docker environment. So I will create, I will show it outside of the server, but just imagine it is inside the server itself. In the Docker, it is connected to the Docker itself. So now just imagine that this is inside the Docker, it is connected to the Docker. So this is the new network adapter that I am creating. So now what I am going to do, I will remove these containers from the default bridge network adapter and I will connect this containers to the, let me do one thing. I will connect these containers to the newly created bridge network adapter. Okay, so now it will have its own IP address. If you want, you can customize the IP address range also, but by default, here we are having 172.17.0.0. Here you will get 172.18.0.0/16. Okay, so it will have the gateway IP address in the range 172.18.0.1. And this container will assign with an IP address 172.18.0.2. And this particular container will have an IP address 172.18.0.3. Okay. So now what is going to happen here? So when we are having the containers in a custom network adapter, the same formula. But here we are going to communicate with the name. Okay. So this container, whatever the container, it's an application container. This time what I will do, I will tell this container to connect to the Postgres database. For example, student DB. Okay, so the name I will give, the container name I will give, and 5432. This is the port number. Okay, so I will tell to the Java application you have to connect to the container which is having the name student database or else student DB. This is the container name. On the port number 5432, you need to connect. So now what I will do here is I will create one more database container here. This is the database container which I am creating. And this container, the application container, will have an IP address of the range 172.18.0.5. For example, let me take like this. And this particular database container which we have created, it will have an IP address 172.18.0.10. Okay. So, but the name of this database is student DB. This is the name of the database. So this time how application is connecting? Application is connecting with the help of name, not with the IP address. So now it will be connected in this format. Due to any reason, if the database container is deleted, if the database container is deleted and a new container is created with the same IP address. For example, this is a new container which got created with the same IP address. Why? Because the student database is deleted, right? So in the same network, if another container got created, excuse me, with the same IP address, but this particular container will have a different name, 172.18.0.10. Okay. So this particular container will have a different name. So for example, this is the web app. Okay, web app. So this is the container name. So now what this Java container is trying to do, the Java container is trying to find out where is the student DB container is available. So when the student DB container is not available, then it will throw an error that unable to connect to the database until unless it is not going to be connected to this particular adapter. So when a new database container is created, nevertheless of its IP address, it might be having 172.18.0.100. So the Java container doesn't find anything related to the IP address. It will try to fetch out the name of that particular container. So when we create a container with the same name, then it will be connected to that particular database container. Okay, so this is the reason why we need to go for the custom network adapter. Custom network. Okay, so this is about your networking concept. Do you understand now what is happening here? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, let me show you this in practical so that you will understand what I am trying to explain you. Docker PS. Right now, we are having two containers where it is connected Docker network inspect bridge. These two containers are connected to the default bridge network adapter. Now I am going to create a new network adapter. So to create the new network adapter, Docker network create PGNet. I will PostgresNet. Okay, I will create this network. So here you can see Docker network ls. So we are having a bridge network adapter, that is PGNet, that got created. So what is the bridge network adapter? So I just created this network adapter also connected towards your host adapter. Okay, so that's the bridge network adapter which we have created. Now, whatever the containers that are there and that are connected to the default network adapter, I want to remove those containers from the default network adapter. Remove in the sense I want to disconnect them from the default network adapter, and then I need to reconnect it to the custom network adapter. How I can do that? It's very simple. Docker network disconnect test container. Sorry, Docker network disconnect bridge test container. So from the bridge network, I'm disconnecting the test container. Okay, and as well as test container 2. So both the containers are disconnected from the bridge network adapter, which means that they will not automatically connect to the custom network adapter. So here you can see Docker network inspect bridge. So in the bridge network adapter, you don't have any containers. You can see here. And as well as in the custom network adapter, Docker network inspect. What is the custom network that I have created? PGNet. So in the PGNet also, we don't have any containers created. Right now, they are in a vacuum space. I mean, right now they are in a vacuum where they are not connected to any network. So they will not communicate with each other also. They are disconnected from the network. So they will not connect to the external outside the network, and as well as they will not communicate. The containers will not communicate with each other. So now what I have to do, I have to connect this containers to the custom network adapter. How I can do that? Docker network connect. What is that? PGNet and test container and test container 2. Now I have connected these two containers to the PG network, to the custom network adapter. So now let me log on to the test container. Docker execute -it test container and bash. Now if you can see ping test container 2. Previously we got an error. Okay. Test container 2. But now you can see we are getting the response. So which means that the test container is able to communicate with test container 2 through the name. So it is only happened because of the custom network adapter. With the default network adapter, you cannot able to communicate with the name. Okay. So if you want to create any container, okay, at the time of creating the container itself, if you define the network, so the container will be created inside that network itself. How I can do that? Docker run -itd name of the container is test container 3. Okay, network is pgnet and with the image Ubuntu. So here you can see Docker PS. We have the test container we got created. Where it is created? Docker inspect. Directly you can inspect the container. Test container 3. Or else simply I will give the container ID also. You can give container ID or else you can give the container name. So here you can see the IP address of the container is 172.18.0.4. 172.18 is the range that we have given for the custom network adapter. So when you are creating any container, you have to define the network where I have to create this particular container. So when we define the network, automatically in that network, the container will be creating. So this is the main concept of your Docker networking. Understood how to install. So today we have discussed about how to install Docker and how to configure the Docker network. What is the main advantage with the default network and what is the main advantage with the custom network, and how we can create the custom network, how we can add the Docker containers to the custom network. These are the concepts that we have seen in this session. If you have any further questions, you can ask me now. Do you understand the concept here? Any questions? Guys, Sri was, I think you are the one who is there from the beginning. Any questions?
No,
Are you clear with everything?
I think so.
Sorry?
Yeah.
So this is about your entire Docker networking concept. So if you want to create your own custom network also, you can create it depending on your own IP address range, and you can provide the IP addresses to that particular container option. That is available. But anyways, so this is about your Docker basics. Tomorrow we will discuss, I mean, from Monday onwards, we are going to discuss about Docker architecture, and then we will be discussing about the Docker lifecycle or else container lifecycle. And it is very important for us to understand how Docker will get the images, how Docker will run the application. So these are all the things that we are going to understand in the next upcoming session. So that comes under the Docker architecture. We'll see on the particular day. I hope this is very clear for you. So those who has joined little late, okay. So again, telling you the concepts here. So the basics of the syllabus, what we are going to cover in the Docker and Kubernetes concepts is, here we are going to cover the entire Docker basics. Now we have just seen the Docker networking concept, and then Docker images, Docker volumes, Docker compose, and Docker swarm. These are the concepts that we are going to cover in the Docker. Docker swarm is just a theoretical concept. We don't have any practical for that. But any which ways, I will try to explain you on that. Okay, and the next one is we will be diving into the Kubernetes. So these are the concepts that we are going to cover. Kubernetes architecture. Okay, so what is a control plane? What is the data plane? These are all the things that we are going to cover, and then we will be discussing about the KubeADM and how to create the Kubernetes cluster with KubeADM, KOps, Rancher, and EKS. Later, we will be discussing about the Kubernetes workload components, which are very, very important. That those are comes under pods, replica sets, deployments, and lot of things that we are going to cover. So this is the entire syllabus for your Kubernetes. And what are the prerequirements? So you need to have a basic understanding about the AWS EC2 instances. That's more than enough. And you need to have a laptop with 4 GB of RAM. Okay. Now, what you can do with this completion of this particular course, you can write the CK examination, Certified Kubernetes Administrator examination. That will cost you around some 30,000 rupees, 30,000 to 35,000 rupees, which is not included into the course that you have to do by own. Next, the class timings will be 9 to 11. Okay, 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and class duration will be 20 hours of sessions. And we will provide all the videos and related documents to you. So you don't need to worry about the documentation and the videos. Okay, every day you are going to get your own videos and the documents. So yeah, that's it from my end. If you have any further questions, you can ask me now. Last 5 minutes. Questions, guys? Really sorry, I'm yeah, 9 to 11 o'clock Sunday. In the morning, not in the evening. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. But what I can promise you by attending this session is in detailed analysis and in detailed knowledge about the Docker and Kubernetes. That I can assure you that. Okay, so you can see whoever are the candidates that are leaving or is that completed the Docker and Kubernetes session from my. So you can cross check from the Google reviews also. It will be more practical and it is not in theoretical concepts. No, evening batch right now, I don't have any evening batch.
The batch will continue from Monday, right? Even,
Yeah,
for
the batch.
example, we don't have many participants. Even though that we will continue this class.
The session will be continued, and if there are participants or else there are no participants, at least one participant is there, then we will continue the session.
Okay.
It's not like that we are going to start the session. There is no. Like at least if one is there, then we will continue. Okay, if nobody is attending to the session, then I cannot do that. But yes, if once one participant is also there, I will try to go with the session. Not I will try to, definitely I will go with the session itself. Okay, so, yeah. Why? Because outside the market is very dull. So nowadays, why? Because this is the May month, right? So everyone will have their own holidays. They are enjoying it. So from June onwards, everyone will directly fall into the courses. So I want to complete this course. I have completed my BTech, so I don't know what to do. So I want to join this course. Yeah, you are allowed. So from June onwards, you will have the more and more traffic. But yes, now when we are having less number of traffic, that is very much happy for me. Why? Because I can have more interaction towards my candidates. Okay, if I have more traffic, then I can only continue with my session. If I have 20, 30 people, I don't know, I cannot interact with my candidates. If I have some 10 people, that's more than enough for me. Okay. Yeah. So that's about the concept of the friendship rates. So, yeah, we'll see on the Monday. So the course fees is 5,000 rupees. So don't bargain that. Okay. Again, coming back to the point, I'm really sorry. We will be providing the course at 5,000 rupees only. Okay. Why? Because you can check out from the outside. If anybody is going to provide all these concepts with the 5,000 rupees, I mean, below 5,000 rupees, like 3,000 or 4,000, don't mind. So I will give you the course at that price. Why? Because nobody is going to tell you about the Rancher, EKS, and giving a project with the microservices and all the kind of thing. It's not possible for 5,000 rupees. Don't bargain with that. Okay. Have a nice day and bye bye. Sorry, Sabir and Lakshmi, I'm really sorry that you have attended a little bit late to the session. So that's why I think you might have some certain questions to ask. So yeah, I will stay back. So if you have any further things to ask me, you can ask me. I don't have any problem. If you want the videos related kind of thing, you can get the videos related kind of thing from the YouTube. We yeah, recorded sessions are there. Okay, you can ask this guys who's that DURGASOFT guys. They will provide you the recorded session also. So the point is, yeah. So just to go through the videos that are available in the YouTube. Okay, in YouTube also you are having the videos of my sessions. Okay, you can go through that videos also. It will be very helpful for you, and then only decide whether to join or not. So it's not a problem. And one more thing here is it's a comprehensive course. So, and one more thing, we need to have an AWS account. I mean, you need to have an AWS account. As I have my own AWS account, you need to have your own AWS account. So when you are having your own AWS account, what will happen? Okay, you can do the practicals. Here we are not going to work with the what I can say without AWS account. It will be a little bit difficult for you to work with the Kubernetes cluster. Why? Because I am not going to tell you the Kubernetes in the Minikube version. Okay, in the Minikube, I'm not going to tell you. Okay, that will not be any useful for you also. So I will tell you the Kubernetes session with the proper production grade cluster. I will create a cluster. Inside the cluster itself, I will tell you how this will work. Okay, so yeah. So for that, definitely you will be charged from AWS, not from DurgaSoft. We don't have any tie-ups with AWS. So yeah, you will be get charged for that practicals, how many hours that you are doing. So for that many hours, you are going to be charged. So think like 5,000 is your course fees, extra 2,000, maybe 2,000 will be for your practicals that you are directly paying it to the AWS, not for the DurgaSoft. We don't have any connection with Amazon. I'm strictly telling you, if you do more practice, it will be charged more. If you do less practice, it will be charged less. That means that I don't want you to do more practice, like kind of thing. So you have to do the practice, but depending on your understanding. So you understood one time or two times, if you do the practical, if you understood the concept, then that is not highly chargeable. But if you don't understand the concept and you are repeating the practical more and more, then definitely it is going to be chargeable. So that's the thing that I want to tell you. Okay. Anything else, guys, that I'm missing here? I don't think so. So have a nice day and we'll meet in the next session. Bye bye. Next session will be on Monday, that is 9 to 11. Okay, all the three demos are completed. Okay, previously also from 9 o'clock we have a session at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that demos are also completed, and these 8 o'clock demos are completed. We are going to merge these two batches so that we are going to have a session at 9 to 11 a.m. Okay, have a nice day and we'll meet in the next session. Bye bye.